Hello, good morning. I'm Alison Stone from CITB. I work as an engagement advisor in South East London. So look forward to speaking with you today. I'm going to be talking about the construction industry as a whole. Right, so the construction industry categories. Now, there are three categories. The industry is divided. So you've got building construction, which includes construction of residential, farm, industrial, commercial or other buildings. Infrastructure construction, looking at heavy construction such as highways and roads, bridges, sewers, railways, irrigation projects, flood control projects and marine construction. Also, there's special trade construction, includes projects such as electrical work, plumbing, fittings, paintings, etc. Right, so we're looking at construction as a whole. So what I've done is a SWOT analysis. So looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats in construction. So the first one is strengths. So training and job opportunities, diverse workforce, skilled labour availability, demands of construction, green skills, retrofit. And the weaknesses would be the cost of materials rising, which they are every day, management difficulties, trying to get staff and new projects, skills shortages, project timescales. Opportunities would be working with the private sector building, continually increasing, creating new jobs and retrofit. So the threats, we've got current economic situation, long-term market instability, environmental regulations, and government policies. Right, why choose the construction industry? Now, the construction industry is obviously a great place to work, meet lots of people. You learn so many skills for the future. The industry is very busy. You know, as you see sites, as you're going around, they're always busy sites, lots of people, lots of work to do. And there's so many jobs you can do. You can work towards a level 2 qualification and progress on to levels 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. If you enjoy working with your hands, you could become a bricklayer, a carpenter, bench joiner, plasterer, dry liner, painting decorator, plumber, electrician, roofer. There's so many different kinds of jobs that you can do, especially if you enjoy working outside as well as inside. So there's other jobs as well that you might not actually think about, such as a plant operator, plant mechanic, scaffolder, lifting technician, crane operative, and lots more. Right, so how to get started in construction. Now, like I said, there's loads of different roles that you can choose from. So there's over 175 roles in construction. And looking at your GCSE grades, if you've got 9 to 4, you could work towards a higher qualification, such as being an architect, a planner, estimator, project manager, looking at being a supervisor or quantity surveyor. If you don't have the grades, you can still work towards a higher qualification, either by retaking your exams or progressing onto a level 3 qualification, and once you've completed a level 2. So there's lots of different ways and different options that you can actually achieve your goals and be where you want to be today. You'll find that a lot of managing directors started on a level 2 course and they worked their way up, which is really good. So use the Career Explorer on the Go Construct website is a really good site for you to go on. On there, you can see what roles might suit you. And also as well, there's a personality quiz on there, so you can see what type of roles that you would be, you know, best for. And it gives you lots of information of all the different types of jobs as well, if you're not too sure. So we're looking at apprenticeships this week, and really, what is an apprenticeship? So an apprenticeship is a genuine job with a program of skills, knowledge and behaviour development. So you'll gain your technical knowledge, normally in a training provider or college, and you'll be also completing practical experience as well. You'll be learning wider skills for the future. So you're going to be learning through formal training with a learning provider, either college for one day, or you may have a career that you want to go in that does block release. Depending on your profession, is where where you choose to go and for how long. You will also learn new skills from your workplace as well. Right, what do you need to be an apprentice? As construction is very demanding, you will need to have the following attributes. Now, you need to have willingness to listen and learn. That's really important, both in the training environment and also working on site, because you'd have somebody on site teaching you and you'll be learning. So you really do need to listen. You need enthusiasm and motivation. It's not worth you standing on site with your hands in your pockets or on your mobile phone. You need to be enthusiastic and find out more about the role and, keep asking lots of questions. There's never a wrong question. So, be enthusiastic and motivated. What can I do now? So there's lots of different things that you can be doing rather than just standing around if you sort of think that your job's finished. So you need to be flexible and adaptable as well. So, for instance, you might be working on a site that's an hour away, or you might be working a site that's 5 minutes. So you need to find that you need to be flexible in your working, and also as well, adapt to different jobs. You might be on one site in the morning and another site in the afternoon. So you need to be good at that as well. So reliability and good timekeeping, that's really important. If you're sitting in, if you're still in bed when somebody comes and picks you up, they're going to be late for work. You're going to be late for work, and it doesn't start as a good start to the day. So you really need to be reliable, because everybody on site is relying on you to complete your work, and obviously timekeeping as well. Right, okay, so the support you'll receive as a CITB apprentice, you would have an apprentice advisor, a workplace mentor. So your employer would set you up with a supervisor or your mentor to be able to go through the work with you and to help you throughout your college work as well. And you've also got your college tutor to talk to, and you will have an assessor that would come out on site and check your work and ask you, some questions, a one-to-one discussion as well with your assessor. Right, so the next steps would be visit the Go Construct website to find out more about the exciting and diverse opportunities available in construction. That's what I spoke about earlier. So explore and learn more about what interests you. Sometimes, you don't know what a role is until you read up about it or speak to other people that are in that role as well. So you need to go on to the goconstruct.org website. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions? Let's have a look in the chat.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think there are a lot of questions in there, both in the Q&A piece and also in the main chat. So feel free to pick out a few if you think.
Lots of questions on there. So apprenticeships on offer for estimating or quantity surveying at the moment. Yes, there will be apprenticeship opportunities with companies down in Southampton, all over, to be quite honest, for apprenticeship. So you need to go on to the Go Construct website. Also as well, Clive will be talking about Talent View, and have a look on the gov.uk website as well to see what availability there is for apprenticeship. Speak to your local learning provider as well, your local college. Right, so would it be the national minimum wage a person would earn while working in construction? Because I've heard some apprenticeships pay more. Depending on your employer is how much that they do pay you. As long as they do pay the national minimum wage, or, you might be lucky and get paid more than the national minimum wage. So it's entirely up to your employer and yourself to discuss your wages. How has technology impacted the construction industry? Obviously, all technology is moving very fast in any industry. So it is, it's really impacted really well in construction. A lot of digital work now is being carried out. So that's good. So what skills do you gain during this apprenticeship? Do Go Construct offer apprenticeships or someone else? Clive will be talking about apprenticeships and where you can have a look. What skills do you gain? And obviously you're going to be gaining your knowledge, skills and behaviours during your apprenticeship. So it depends really on what apprenticeship you want to go for in construction, because like I say, there's so many. So go onto the Go Construct website and have a look at the different roles. But there is engagement advisors, there's apprenticeship development officers as well that are out there on behalf of CITB. So you can also go onto the CITB website and have a look to see where your nearest advisor is, and you can always give us a call. I think that's it now. I could always answer the other questions on the chat.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Yeah. We will try and have a few minutes for questions at the end so we can all come back on. And if there are more questions, please keep dropping them in. But thank you so much, Alison. And now I think we will hand over to Clive. Let me just start this presentation.
Well, good morning, everyone. I hope that you can see those slides and you can hear me okay.
We can hear you, but we can't see you, or at least I can't. Oh, cool.
Okay.
Right. Cool. Thank you.
So I'll start again. So good morning, everyone. I hope you can see these slides. And my name's Clive Jennings. I'm the Engagement Manager for Talent View Construction. So basically, what is Talent View Construction? Talent View Construction was launched at the start of 2020 when we had the COVID crisis. The UK government were forecasting something like 67,000 skilled construction workers would be displaced or made redundant. And as a result of that situation, we were asked to look at that situation for skilled workers. And at the same time, CITB were predicting or forecasting 27,000 new jobs being created in the construction sector year on year between now and 2026. So something like 4.4% growth. So we obviously needed a platform for both construction skilled workers and early careers, people looking for apprenticeships, T-levels, graduate opportunities, etc., etc. I have to say from the outset, the platforms are completely free. So these platforms are designed to help people find their vocation in life or early careers in the construction industry. We list all types of different opportunities, which is apprenticeships, traineeships, graduate jobs, placements, internships, T-level courses, work experience, and entry-level jobs into construction. The whole concept of the platform is to ensure that we maintain and keep the skills in the industry while attracting young people to come into the construction sector. So just basically give you some kind of indication, where is the demand? So there is 266,000 additional workers required to meet the construction demand by 2026. UK-wide, all 9 English and regions plus Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland are set to experience growth, resulting in increased demand for workers. Recruitment-wise, as demand soars, most affected sectors will be private housing, infrastructure, repair and maintenance. Looking at this, there is 2.78 million workers employed in the construction industry by 2026, if the projected growth is met, just to give you some statistics. These are what our platforms look like. So what you've got here is on the left-hand side, the skilled worker platform for those people who are maybe at risk of redundancy or companies have put an HR1 into government predicting that they're going to lose people. They can use this platform. And the one on the right-hand side is for early careers, people at school in year 10, 11, looking for a potential opportunity in construction, and also for people looking for traineeships, apprenticeships, tasters, etc. So everything is there on these platforms. As you can see from the logos across the bottom, they are supported by various government departments, people like CITB, BAYS, National Apprenticeship Service, Construction Leadership Council, Go Construct, etc. If I may, what I'd like to just do is, rather than keep talking and boring you to death with presentation slides, is just click on and show you this video. It's about 2 minutes long, but it says everything that I've been just trying to sum up in the previous slides.
Lots of young people, career changers and colleges told us they wanted one place where they could easily find apprenticeships and first roles in construction. They also wanted to find traineeships, work experience and other ways to get started in a great new career. Employers told us they wanted a way to promote opportunities in their organisations and to search for suitable candidates. That's why we created Talent View Construction. Talent View Construction is a free platform that helps match great talent with great employers. Think of it as a launchpad for careers in construction. Brought to you with support from a wide range of employers, industry bodies, professional institutions, colleges and universities, and construction unions. Talent View can help those new to the industry launch their career. Employers find the right talent. And schools and colleges looking to help students get employment in construction. And best of all, it is completely free for everyone. No ads, no hassle. Sign up and get started today.
So just to explain about the platforms then. So it's one scheme, two platforms. So Talent View Construction for the early careers is designed to help employers and individuals connect and look at all the different opportunities that have been advertised on the platform. It's designed, as I said, to help people. We're linked very close with all the with NAS, Apprenticeships and Go Construct. So just to put that in simple terms, all of the national apprenticeship scheme or service apprenticeships being advertised are automatically drawn through to our platform. Like I said, there's no fees, there's no recruitment agency involved with anything to do with our platforms. These are completely free for an employer, for college, for university, for any individual looking for careers in their respective areas and job opportunities. This is the one, as I said, for the skilled worker platform. This is for people at risk of redundancy or displacement, or in fact, any person that is looking for a career change, maybe in their own area or across a different company or across the UK. So basically, the way the platforms work is once people are registered, for example, I'll talk about early careers, you can upload your CVs, your certificates from secondary education, from working situation. Once you're on there and you press the go live button, it means that employers can see you. And what it actually does, it actually takes your information and sends that information to employers to let them realize that you are available. And the employer then gets the alert or information, and then they can contact you direct. So there's no middleman, there's nobody else involved. It puts you direct contact with the employer that's advertising their various roles. For any individual, once you're signed up, this is how it works. What you're looking at here is a typical sort of, this is my dashboard. So it'll allow me to build a personal profile, attach my CV. It also gives me connections to Go Construct Careers Explorer, so I can look at the different job descriptions, the salary bands for each of the different jobs. I can choose job interests and locations from my sign-up registration. I can make myself visible to employers if I'm looking for opportunities. And I can also search for opportunities and set alerts, because this is a live platform. So things will come in and go out of the platform day to day. But the important thing, it allows, or it matches me to companies or organizations, and I can apply for roles and be contacted as well. For an organization or employers, again, same sort of similar dashboard. Once I've set up the company profile, I can post vacancies and opportunities, and straight away the platform starts bringing into me people that I would be very interested in talking to. So it's a sifting and sort process. I can make contact with the people directly, either by phone, by email, whatever information is on their CV to get in contact with them. And just to come down to the last couple of slides. So at the moment, we've got, in fact, it's not 118, it's 122 colleges we're working with. We've got 44 universities, 12 schools is now 16 schools. And one of the things that we are looking for in the future is to try and get into schools at year 10 and 11, help people make some informed choices about career options, specifically in the construction sector. So to get involved, all I would say or recommend to people is sign up, create your, if you're an employer, create your own profile and start to advertise your jobs and opportunities for people. If you're an individual, sign up, get your information on there so that you can look at and use it as research, even as a research engine to find those jobs. And if there's anybody in terms of partnerships, introduce us to those partnerships. And you can sign up to the monthly newsletter and find out a whole host of promotional tools that are available on our toolkit. Those are my details and those of my director, Christian Warden. So if you want to make a note of those, that information, please get in contact and I will try and help people as much as I can find their opportunities in life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And just make sure you grab these email addresses if you need them. Obviously, you can come back to the recording if you need to, but if you guys want to grab either a screenshot or just take those down right now. And Clive, I just wondered, we had a few questions about international eligibility. So is this just focused on a specific type of audience or is it open to anyone? Oh, wait, I think you might be on mute. I can't hear you, but others might be able to.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, just to share with you, yes, international-wise, we do have some international opportunities that are on there. We've just been approached by the Western Australian government about the fact that they need construction workers over in Australia, and they would like to utilise our platforms to try and attract people to go work in Australia. So there's a wonderful opportunity. I've been talking to lots of colleges and saying to young people, don't just think about next week, think about next 3 to 5 year strategy. And if you are looking for maybe a brighter future wherever, and you've got designs on working and living abroad, there will be opportunities. We've got another situation with Ukraine at the moment, the war going on. I have absolutely no doubt that they will need to rebuild that country and the infrastructure. So there will be other opportunities, like, for example, Ukraine. You've just seen the world event where Turkey's just taken earthquake. That is going to need some help and support internationally to obviously make the new buildings earthquake proof. I have seen evidence of that in Italy, and I've personally experienced it over there, so I know what can be done. But you need the people with the skill set to be able to help those countries out following those kind of acts of God, shall we say, those disasters. So yes, the platform does have all sorts of opportunities being advertised by employers. For me, my job is to make sure that employers that are networking or linked to the colleges are aware of this platform being there. So it's not just about apprenticeships, it's all sorts of opportunities. Working with the likes of CITB and Go Construct to get the information out to as many employers as possible. Working with college students and university students to make them aware there's a platform for their qualifications and their skill set, looking at the different apprenticeships. I was looking at something like more than 105 different types of apprenticeship roles currently being advertised across the UK on the platforms.
That's really helpful, and I think that answered quite a few questions in there, but we do have more, so we'll try and get back to more of your questions at the end, and if you have more questions for Clive, please put them in the chat.
Hi everyone, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Amy, but you might know me as the Digger Girl. Well, who am I? My story. So I wanted to be a mechanic when I left school when I was 17. I went round all the local garages in town, to which I never got an apprenticeship from them. I don't know whether that was because they weren't taking anyone on at the time or if it was because of a girl. One of the owners did make a comment about that I wouldn't be able to lift the tyres and stuff. So after that, I just went to work with my dad. I was working with him within the holidays and other times when I was off. And it was then I went through my apprenticeship with CITB. I've been operating now for 10 years. Well, it'll be 11 years this year. I done my apprenticeship when I was 17 down at Bircham Newton, and yeah, carried on working with Dad, and it was only supposed to be temporary, but here I am. Within my apprentice time, I won Apprentice of the Year, a couple of awards for them, and then recently I've won the most influential contractor and on the tools award as well, which is great. I didn't really expect anything of that to come from it. Within the social media thing, I've got the opportunity to work with brands as like Hyundai and CITB to promote and show different causes. With Hyundai, we're going to be doing stuff with Women in Construction Week. Now, I obviously think it is very important for women to be working in construction. Not just women, just anybody, but it's good for the younger generation to know that it is a job for girls as well. The CITB obviously doing this today, the National Apprenticeship Week, and I'm all for getting not just young people, I'm for anybody who wants a career change to push them in the right direction and show them that apprenticeships are good and a good way of life. My platform also helps with more women in construction. I've got girls, and to be fair, I've got a lot of men as well messaging me asking how to get into the construction industry, and I'm always answering back, and I love to see their journey of when they first start and just have a think about it to when they are actually qualified and doing a job that they now love. Another one is young people. Like, I think if we get it into our heads from a young age that you can be in the construction industry and it's a good career, then that's a go. So I've been doing things like going around local schools, take my machine there. I'm always letting wee kids, when it's safe to do so, jump in the machine and get the feel of it, because some people just don't get the chance of doing that. So yeah, that's my goals for this year, to get into more schools and get more people, younger people, in their heads that construction is the way forward. Future plans, I can't really go into too much detail here, but I focused on children to encourage and inspire them to go into the construction industry. So you might wonder how all this came about. So I worked with my dad and have done for 10 years. I'm a day-to-day digger driver. I'm also a mum to 2 kids, which some of you may know is very time consuming. As well as that, I have gained a lot of followers now on social media. I think I'm at 450,000, and I'm just showcasing my day-to-day life and my job and my work and what I'm doing. I also do all the paperwork side of stuff for my dad's business, as well as do my own stuff. So I do my dad's VAT, accounts, invoicing. So yeah, there's always something to kind of to keep me busy. There is a good thing about being an influencer, and that's all the good comments and people messaging me asking for advice and getting to work with brands. But with it, there does come the odd horrible messages. Luckily, I am a very strong-minded girl and I can shrug it all off. I do get the odd remarks about, oh, you should be in the kitchen doing the dishes, or did you not do your ironing? But I can rub it off, but a lot of people probably can't. I also get people not just about the women comments, I also get them about my work. Now, if you work in construction, you know everybody thinks they know about working in construction. So I do take some advice on, but it's my way of doing stuff, and that's what I showcase. And yeah, that's what I tell people, it's my way. So if you've got nothing nice to say nothing at all. And then I guess that's where it goes on about the mental health. It does get tough being a woman in construction, or anybody in construction. It's important to be nice to people. If you've got nothing nice to say, scroll past. And yeah, I would recommend anybody who's thinking about a job in construction to go for it. Yeah, it's been great chatting with you all, and I'm going to go on and see what questions. If I've got any questions, feel free to ask. I am based in West Coast Scotland, so Argyll, and I am Amy Underwood. I think that might be me, unless there's any more questions. I'll hand it back over now.
And if there are more questions, feel free to keep dropping them in the chat, because we can get to them at the end as well. And can you just remind us of your social media handles in case anyone wants to go and follow you?
Yeah, I am the Digger Girl. Very easy, so hopefully you'll remember it.
Cool. And yeah, so we can drop that in the chat as well at the end. Thank you so much, Amy. Remember, if you have more questions, put them in the chat.
I'm here to talk to you about my experience so far. Anyway, so I started as an apprentice 18 months ago after finishing my A-levels in 2021 and then joining the scheme a couple of months after. So I've been working as a civil engineer degree apprenticeship for McGee, so a construction firm based in London. So my experience as an apprentice so far, my whole time I've been working on a construction site, starting as like an assistant site engineer and then gradually getting more experience and more responsibility as a site engineer. So on site, I've contributed to the progression of a project, sort of from drawings to construction. Specifically, main project I've been based on has been a complex project based in Covent Garden, where I started on the project, started on construction in the basement and are currently building up to the 9th floor. So other experience as an apprentice would be working in a big team environment. So on site, I've been working in a team of roughly 100 people, sometimes more, sometimes less, including, so you've got your big whole site management team and then a range of different trades on site, all working together in a team to get the job done. So I was constantly learning and developing my skills as an engineer. So construction is an industry that sort of presents many challenges. I'd say like often a different solution is required each time. So sort of learning, starting 18 months ago, you learn a lot of new things to help you get through that. So just an insight onto why I sort of chose engineering and why I chose construction as a whole. So I've always sort of been interested by like the infrastructure that shapes communities, and after doing some research, I found that a career in civil engineering would allow me to be involved in the design and development of construction projects. Yeah, I also know that there are many different roles within engineering. So you could be more based in the head office with like the design and the planning of projects, or like what I'm doing right now is being based on site and sort of being hands-on involved with the development and the construction of a project. Another reason I knew I wanted to go like sort of the apprenticeship route rather than doing university just on its own. And engineering is quite a hands-on practical role that I think sort of works perfectly as an apprenticeship route, because I go to university 1 day a week, and then the remaining 4 days I'm on site, working 9-10 hours a day. So it really helps you progress a lot quicker. You get an experience as well as learning, and yeah, they sort of just they work really well together. Yeah, so that's a bit about my experience. I'd say as a bit of an advice for you guys, some key skills I found useful for my role. Maybe if you ever get into an interview, you might want to discuss these things. Communication is a massive thing. So as I said, working in a big team, you're always sort of meeting new people. You're never really in the same team for a really long time. So you need to be able to have good communication and work with many people. I'd say a big thing, especially as an engineer, is problem solving skills. As I mentioned earlier, many sort of complex problems and sort of issues with all aspects of construction. So being able to get around them is definitely something that helps. And then other skills, I say technical skills. Once you start learning, you sort of have to keep getting on board and just keep practicing and developing, and then hopefully you get on right. So thanks for listening. That was my experience so far.
Hey Freddie, thank you so much. There are quite a few other questions for you. If you want to just take a few of these before you go. Yeah, a lot of people wanting to know about your experience. So maybe Joshua's question: are you working with other people who are apprentices? Like, what is your kind of team structure like?
Yeah, so I started with 2 other apprentices. We was based on different sites at the start, but we go to university together 1 day a week. So I'm really good friends with them now, and we sort of share our experiences with each other and help each other and compare what work we're doing, and whether we want to do more what they're doing. So I'm working with other apprentices, and it's good to see the journey they're going on as well, I guess. Yeah,
that's great. And are there any downsides to your apprenticeship? Any negatives, and what are they?
I'd say it's you're very busy. As in, I'm working 40 hours a week, and then studying as well, which it is a downside, but at the same time you're learning quicker, and obviously you're getting paid for it as well. So you're getting paid for your work as well as getting your university degree. So yeah, it's you're always busy, but it's quite rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, sounds good. And final one of these questions: how do you think the apprenticeship has developed you? You mentioned like some of the skills that you've developed, but like as a person, how do you think it's kind of changed you over the time of your apprenticeship?
I'd say you sort of mature very quickly. As in, I sort of finished school, and then 2 months later I started an apprenticeship. You're working in like a demanding industry, so you sort of just learn to get on with things a lot better. And yeah.
And you mentioned like teamwork as well, like working with other people. I guess that's quite a shift from school, where you're kind of like, or you're just focusing on yourself a lot, and now you're kind of a big part of the team. Cool. Thank you so much. So yeah, if there are more questions for Freddie, keep dropping them in the chat. We do have 10 more minutes. So I guess what we will do is go back on let's just come back to here. And then if you guys all want to come and rejoin, let's just go through a last few questions if you're all still around. Hello. Okay, so there are quite a lot of questions, and I don't know if anyone wants to cover sort of the realities of like earning a wage and kind of what the experience is like of earning while you're doing your apprenticeship. So some people are saying, what is the average wage, and also is it really difficult to, for example, live in London, or how do people kind of manage that? I don't know who is best placed to go for that question.
I guess maybe I can say, as I've started as an apprenticeship. I'd say especially if you're going in London, you start on like a good wage. Maybe you'll see around a lot of them around 20,000 in London for a degree apprenticeship.
Yeah, and so is it quite hard to, like, obviously London's very expensive. Do you have any tips for people who are trying to manage that kind of reality?
Well, I think I managed to save money as well and earn money. So I think, you get an apprenticeship and you do all right, and then your money goes up as you progress.
Got it. Makes sense. Okay, so then we've got a lot of questions about people taking specific subjects. So we've got like geography and environmental science, and also like people asking about postgraduate students. I don't know if anyone is best placed to speak on like if there are any particular subjects that prepare you well for an apprenticeship, or if it doesn't matter, or if there are things that people should be looking to study at school.
Yeah, to be quite honest, everybody as an apprentice really would need English and maths grades, because if they've not got the correct GCSE level, then what they would do at college, they would do functional skills. So obviously I can see here from Matthew, is geography and environmental science a good starting point? It is, because it's learning all about the environment, and obviously being outside and that as well. And that's where maths comes in as well. You know, maths is really good because a lot of the different apprenticeships, you know, you'll use maths like estimating, project managing, surveying, etc. But even if you don't get the grades that you need for that course, you know, there is other ways where you could work towards the grades. So don't sort of feel lighthearted if you haven't got the grades. You know, that there is ways. You can speak to any training provider, any advisor, and just ask, you know, which way to go forward if you haven't quite hit the grades.
So we've got a few people asking about technology and AI in the construction industry. I don't know if anyone has any experience of that, or how it's changing, or what the trends are in your sector.
Yeah, obviously with construction, technology is changing all the time. It's what it is. I think now they're looking at increasing productivity. So there's new technologies of 3D printers. Some sites are even using drones as well, and robotic equipment. So there's lots of different, you know, different technologies that are coming in to the construction industry.
And also a question about sustainability. So Jack asks, what role does sustainability play in the construction industry?
To be quite honest, every role really. You would have to have a look to see what the role entails and have a read up on the role. But I think a lot of companies now are looking at sustainability and obviously retrofit as well. So that's all coming into the industry. So have a look to sort of decide what role you'd like to do, and then just read up on what's available, you know, what's available. And obviously there is careers advisors that can go through as well. If that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. And I guess it's kind of linked to technology as well, so maybe like more technology solutions. Cool. Okay. Which employers in the sector take on the most apprenticeships, and which have the best schemes? So it depends. I guess that depends what you mean by best. But are there some employers that you would kind of recommend if you're starting to think about like which direction should I go in? Are there some places that people should check out, or would you just?
With the employers in the sector that take on the most apprentices, it depends on the size of the employer really, because obviously we go for micro, small, medium and large companies. Obviously the larger companies would be the ones that would take on more work experience and also more apprenticeships, because they're able to, they've got the staff for mentoring. So the likes of McGee's, Kia, Kilnbridge, Waits, you know, there's quite a lot of companies out there. So the best thing I think to do is just Google, you know, larger companies in the construction industry and to see what comes up. Have a look on the websites of any companies that you know. And so it all depends really, because you could have a smaller employer that's actually wants to, you know, take on 3 or 4 apprentices. So it depends on what's out there at the present time. And obviously this is the time to start looking for apprenticeships for any sort of company.
And I think you mentioned McGee. There was an email address in the chat. So if you were interested in that, I think it was early careers. So if you just search the chat, that's down there. Okay, so maybe there was one that was more like experience, maybe for Amy or Freddie as well. Where was it? Oh, what do you think is the most important thing to know before starting an apprenticeship in the industry? Like, what top tips would you give people to know before they start?
I think the top tips, I don't know, it's kind of, you've got to be hands-on, like you said before. You've got to look and like be prepared to learn loads and quite a lot of information given to you at once. You've also got to think for yourself, so you need to start seeing things that are needing done, and sit back and think it's an easy ride.
What about you, Freddie? Would you say the same or anything different?
Yeah, I'd say make sure you're sort of ready for like a full-on job. But then I'd also say it's good industry, as you're gonna be like sort of really involved sort of straight away. It's quite you're not gonna be slacking off and not really doing much work. You're gonna, as soon as you sort of get in there, you're gonna be involved and busy a lot.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds really full on. It's working and studying at the same time, but yeah, it sounds exciting. So there was someone asking, is there a difference between an apprenticeship and a traineeship, or is that just terminology between different employers? Maybe Alison, I don't know if you know.
Yeah, there is a difference between a traineeship and obviously an apprenticeship. Apprenticeship's for a longer term, and a traineeship is for so many weeks. So the employer would take on as a trainee. There is, if you go on the CITB website, it will actually, you can pull up traineeships, and it will tell you all about the, what's involved and for how long, and how the companies sort of employ you for the traineeship and what college work that you do as well.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you. And maybe a final one from Joshua. We've had a little bit about the real work that you have already done in your apprenticeships, but Joshua asked, do construction apprenticeships allow you to work on real projects? And I guess he's thinking like, well, maybe working on like big projects, or maybe Freddie and Amy can speak to kind of the real life work that you've done as part of your apprenticeship.
Yeah,
One mic cut up.
Oh.
I think that's, yeah, well, with me, I was stuck straight in at projects, and that's when most of my learning and skills went into place, was when I was into these projects and learning different ways to do them. And yeah, because I'm a digger driver, of course, it's a wee bit different from the other apprenticeships. But yeah, I was straight onto big sites and to doing the job.
Yeah, so as like a site engineer, you're working on a construction site. So I'm working on like a concrete frame, reinforced concrete frame. So you're sort of working with the tradesmen and labourers to build the job up together. So also someone asked about sort of technology, like using high-tech technology and machines for this. So yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Sounds exciting. All right, amazing. Well, I think we are almost at 12 o'clock. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And if you have more specific questions, there were a few email addresses that were dropped in the presentation slides and also in the chat. So make sure you have the ones that are in the chat already. And then also, if you need to come back to the presentation and get someone's email address, or if you want to connect on LinkedIn or something like that, or social media, if you want to follow Amy. I personally really want to follow you now. I've got to check out your TikTok. But yeah, so you'll be able to see the presentation. If you registered, you should get an email with the link. If not, check back on the Career Map website and it should be uploaded there. But thank you all so much for joining. And yeah, thank you all for presenting. And it's been a really insightful look at the construction industry. So thank you.